Imagine buildings that generate sustainable energy rather than just use energy. Today, the problems that we are facing have to do with rapid urbanization and climate change, which have very wide repercussions throughout the world. In order to tackle these grand challenges, we need a multidisciplinary approach that relies on technology and science and methods that can improve sustainability. In ASD SUTD, our students gain a Bachelor of Science degree instead of a Bachelor of Arts degree, and then they receive a Master of Architecture degree. Our students learn the technical capabilities very early on in their education. In their first term, when they enter the university, they will learn programming and scripting. And then in their architecture education, they will learn design, building technology, computation, and history, theory, culture, also going to artificial intelligence and data analytics within their architecture education. In ASD, our students use project-based learning for everything. For every subject, what they learn is implemented into design projects. And with these design projects, we look at these issues holistically in a multidisciplinary way. This means when our students graduate, they do not focus on a limited problem. The graduates of ASD become architects. They have the technical and scientific knowledge behind it to make these solutions real. We have our Sustainable Design Option Studios, where we give our students the opportunity to work with really good designers from around the world. Either our students travel to these places and work with world-known architects, Pritzker Prize winners, which is the most prestigious award in architecture, such as Sajima or Herzog and de Meuron. Or we invite well-known architects globally from anywhere in the world to come and work with our students to open their minds, to get feedback on their projects from different points of view. If you want to create sustainable communities through design, through innovation, with the help of technology, and improve architecture with new practices, please join us. I am Bige Tunçer, Associate Professor at Architecture and Sustainable Design.
Registered architect, so we're very proud to have you join us here today, Bianca. We have from Ong and Ong Group, we have Liang Lit Hao and Sujata Zatakia, who are going to be sharing with us about the Ong and Ong Architect in Residence program that we have here at SUTD. And the question that we're going to be answering for you today is why architecture and sustainable design at SUTD? And the answer to that question is the ASC experience. We offer an innovative curriculum that is steeped in maker culture. We provide cohort learning and global exposure. We are a tight-knit community. You will know all your cohort mates. You will know your seniors, your juniors, and your faculty. We are a collaborative space where you can get creative, where you can initiate new projects, initiate your own projects. We are industry-oriented, we are forward-looking, and we provide a studio sequence that's imbued with sustainability principles. Join us at ASD, where you will use the latest technologies and innovations to create a better world by design. So I'm here today to tell you about our architecture and sustainable design curriculum. What does curriculum mean? It means what you will learn when you join us here, but also how you will learn it. So our ASD curriculum is quite unique in the world. We offer a Bachelor of Science degree as opposed to a Bachelor of Arts. And the reason for that is that we imagine that the future architect, leaders in the built environment, will have to take on grand challenges. The problem of climate change, the problem of rapid urbanization. To take on these challenges, to prepare you for your future career, you need a background not just in design skill and problem solving, but also in science and technology to support you in your future career. Within the ASD curriculum, we have 4 core areas. This is what you will learn. The first core area is sustainable design. This is really central to who we are at ASD. In our design sequence, we always look at the design challenge, the design problem, through the lens of sustainability. And through our electives, you will have additional opportunities to learn about sustainable design. Our second core area is design computation. You've already heard earlier today that from your first term at SUTD, you'll be learning programming, scripting. When you come into ASD, you'll be using that skill set in a fun way, by the way, to create architectural form through digital design, and also to manufacture building components through digital fabrication using robotics. Our third core area is building science. This is key to our curriculum in that it allows our students to have evidence-based designs, to build off of science, off of computational simulations of building performance, for example, when they're doing their design work. Our final core area is history, theory, and culture. This is also central to who we are as architects. It provides an understanding of the history of our profession, which goes back 2,000 years, the traditions, our relationship to culture, the understanding of how our 20th century buildings and cities were created, and the future of our profession and our built environment as we look forward to beyond the digital era, even to the era of artificial intelligence. So that's what you will learn here at ASD. But what's just as important is the way you will learn it, because our curriculum is collaborative. Our curriculum is hands-on, and our curriculum is innovative. You'll be working with your friends on hands-on projects. For each course, you'll be doing a real built project. These are projects that go into your portfolio and establish who you are as a designer. And our program is also innovative. We're not just teaching you how to use a tool or how to use a technology. We're teaching you the base concepts behind that technology, the first principles, so that when you go into your career in the future, if there is a tool that's missing, if there's a technology that's missing, you have the basis to go out there and create that tool. So when you go on our website and you look up our curriculum, this is what you see. It's a very dense document. It's a bit hard to process. So I'm going to walk you through it step by step today. And I want you to imagine it with me as a ladder. We're going to go step by step up each rung from term 4, where you will be earning a Bachelor of Science degree. And then from term 8, we're going to go up to term 10, where you earn your Master of Architecture. So earlier today, you already saw terms 1 through 3, which is our Freshmore sequence. So let's jump in now. You're joining ASD. We're in term 4, and this is where we provide the foundation for your education as an architect, as a designer of the built environment. In Architecture Core Studio 1, you begin our studio sequence. You're going to be learning about how to represent your three-dimensional design through drawings and through physical models. You'll be using our laser cutters, our 3D printers to represent your designs. At the same time, you'll be taking Introduction to Design Computation. You're going to be writing fun scripts to create exciting architectural forms. You're going to be taking Architecture, Science, and Technology, where you learn about the materials and assemblies that make up our buildings. And you're going to be taking History, Theory, and Culture, Traditions, learning about the past of architecture and how it inspires our future work. With that foundation, we move on to term 5. This is a very fun term. This is when you take, I've called it Future Forward here. This is when you take Architecture Core Studio 2. This is our VR studio. This is really the future of architectural representation, and in this class, This is one of the few opportunities that students have to take this kind of course. You're really going to be stepping into the state-of-the-art technology, trying it out, and presenting your own vision, your own narrative through virtual reality. At the same time, you're taking architectural structure design. You're understanding the science behind what makes buildings stand up. You're taking digital design and fabrication. You're going to be working with robotics to produce building components. And finally, history and theory and culture, modernisms. This is looking at the 20th century history of architecture and how our present cities that we live in today were created. Term 7, skill up. In this term, you'll be taking our architecture core Studio 3. This is a studio that I teach that I'm very proud of, and it's where you take what you've learned in the previous 2 terms and you apply it to real-world, difficult challenges. We do a master planning exercise using urban data for a residential district, and then we design a sustainable and future-focused high-rise, high-density housing project, like this project that you see here, which is using rainwater capture to irrigate urban farming within a residential environment. At the same time, you take artificial and architectural intelligence. This is the culmination of our history, theory, culture sequence, where we're looking forward to the future of architecture in the AI era. You take architectural energy systems. We are understanding how building simulations can help you demonstrate that your building is actually more sustainable. And you're taking building information modeling, which is the state-of-the-art in representing your building through computational systems of the kind that you would share with the building contractor who's actually going to build your building. Terms 6 and 8. I've grouped these 2 terms together because these are the terms where you will define yourself as a designer. This is your opportunity to choose what electives and what studios you want to take to find your own path. So electives that we offer that you can choose from include machine learning. We have performative design. We're looking at building simulation that informs design, augmented design, conservation theories, social architecture, daylighting, and electric lighting. At the same time, you're going to be taking capstone, which you've heard about earlier today. This is an opportunity, this is sort of the culmination of our SUTD undergraduate education, where you work with students from the other pillars and you work on an industry-oriented project. Terms 6 and 8 also allow you to define yourself as a designer through our Sustainable Design Option Studios. These are studios which take on a sustainability challenge of the kind that you see here in the UN Development Goals. For example, taking on sustainable energy in a building, but also taking on questions of cultural or social sustainability, perhaps. These are also very exciting studios that you get to choose from because we invite distinguished, world-renowned architects here to SUTD to work with you. So for example, we had the Inujima studio with Sana Architects. This is a Pritzker Prize winning architecture office. That's the Nobel Prize for Architecture. And they worked with our students here at SUTD. And our students also had the opportunity to travel overseas to see Japan in this studio. So this is another feature of the Sustainable Design Option Studios. You will have the chance to travel abroad, to immerse yourself in different design cultures, to learn from those cultures, and to be mentored by a distinguished practicing architect. Other great studios we've had the Corbusier Paris studio with Renee Tan. We also had a great studio recently with Andrew Lee from Ong and Ong, who's the leader of the Architect in Residence team, a great studio on how we can apply urban farming ideas here in Singapore. So I recently had the opportunity to teach one of these studios, and I'm going to share with you a video that our students created about it. New technologies can bring to life our heritage monuments, even when they're closed for renovation.
In SUTD, we are using virtual reality to recreate historical buildings and imagine their futures.
Partnering with the National Heritage Board, Dassault Systems, and the Singapore Land Authority, our students created a virtual model of Tanjung Pagar Railway Station, a Singapore national monument currently closed for renovation.
Working with historical drawings and state-of-the-art LiDAR scans, we recreated the historical station and contributed to a virtual space that will make it possible to visit the station in VR, even while it remains closed. We went further to imagine the future of the station after it reopens. We designed a pop-up transport museum at the station's main hall, and we used VR as a tool to visualize our designs. We even adjusted our proposal to the heritage environment in real time.
Over 6 weeks, we were trained by the salt system experts to model and visualize 3D environments in CATIA and 3D Excite. We recreated Tanjung Pagar railway station with historical drawings provided by Singapore Land Authority, as well as photographs taken on site visits. With this, we were able to visualize the site within 3D Excite at a human scale and eye level.
We felt that some experiences can only be emulated through first person, so especially due to the COVID restrictions, VR really helped us to visualize these experiences in our design. The custom interface really helped us to quickly toggle between our design options that were of different heights and densities.
VR was a very helpful tool in helping us to visualize the sense of scale, especially when designing the pavilion. And other than that, VR was used to help us simulate these different lighting conditions to achieve these visual effects that we wanted for our pavilion, which was to create a very immersive and interactive environment for the users of the exhibit.
Great, so I'd just like to say a quick thank you to SUTD Productions for creating that video. We had a lot of fun playing with the green screen in our media lab to create that. So it's entirely student-created, student-produced, and thanks for all the effort that you put into that. The last slide that I'll share with you today is how our ASD curriculum gives you the basis for a future-proof career, right? So while we're called Architecture and Sustainable Design, and we provide you with a direct path into a career as a licensed professional, as an architect, through our undergraduate and through our master's program. The curriculum that we've designed with its emphasis on technology, on digital tools, and on computational thinking provides the basis for careers in our allied professions as well, as an urban designer or urban planner, through your experience with virtual reality, with augmented reality as a game designer, as a brand designer, or a creative designer, and through tackling complex problems as a designer. Through looking at the challenges of sustainability, we feel that our program also prepares you to be a leader not only in designing the built environment, but a leader even more broadly, to have a career in civil service, to be mayor, governor, even president, who knows. With that note, I'd like to wrap up the curriculum portion of our slides, and I'll be passing over to our head of pillar, Professor Erwin Virai, and just excuse me for a moment because I have to pass on the clicker to him.
Thank you, Peter, for sharing what we have at SUTD. Architecture Sustainable Design. So welcome to our conversation this afternoon. I'm very happy and thankful that you are all here with me. And so allow me to share with you some of the student experiences that we have at SUTD ASD. And so at ASD, we emphasize on design, creativity, and exploration. And the students are given many opportunities to work on faculty-led and self-initiated projects by the students themselves. And you will be supported at every stage of education at SUTD. And we look forward to all these projects to enrich learning itself. And if you would look at this next slide, you see that there are many activities that the students participated in, like iLight Singapore in 2019, where they receive a merit award. And what's wonderful about these student activities is that it's not only architecture sustainable design students, but usually they would be working with the students from the other pillars, from ISTD, from EPD, from ESD. And so normally I would think that the students from ISTD are actually architecture students, and only later would I realize that they're actually from ISTD. And I think it's one of the wonderful things about the cohort learning that they have, that they always would be helping each other to find solutions to the problems and challenges that they have. And for the past 8 years, I think, we have been contributing to the creation of the zodiac animals for the Chinese New Year in Chinatown. And our students have been working on this, and I think it's a wonderful contribution to the community, and it always becomes a big subject of conversation. There are people who like it. There are people who say, but I think that they still like it in the end. And of course, we have all the exhibitions where we share not only to Singapore, but also in other parts of the world, the things that we do in SUTD. We can see in this slide that exhibition in China, in Xinjiang, in Seoul, Korea, and then also in the Venice Biennale, the architecture exhibition, and one of the most important exhibitions for architecture in the world. And our students are somehow quite organized also and very responsible, that they have the studio, the official architecture sustainable design student recreation club, as they say, because they organize the Chinese Lohei and all these other activities that orient the students to do what they have in the activities that they have. And they also help each other. They also make sure that the students are doing very well. So every beginning of the term, middle of the term, and then the end of the term, they will always have a conversation with me and then discuss how we can actually make the way we deliver things, the way we do things in the pillar much better. So I think our students are very good in that they're very active in trying to see how we can do much better. And of course, the overseas exposure is very important. A conversation with different people is very important. So we have trips to Italy, to Switzerland, and we even did an Instagram workshop in Switzerland with Herzogen de Meuron, and then also even the studios in Venice, in Florence, in Rome, and we also do projects in Vietnam where the students even built a kindergarten, and this was sponsored by Capital Land. So it's wonderful to have these opportunities for the students to see a different culture, a different setting, a different climate, because it can be very transformative because of the difference that they see from that of Singapore. There was one time whereby when we were in Inujima, the island in Japan, it's a very small island, which is about having 40 people with an average of 60 to 80. And then the students somehow thought of time as like Singapore, that it would unfold as it is, and they think that at maybe 5 p.m. the places where you can eat are still open, but all these places actually close at 4 p.m. And so given that situation, how do you create and how do you find a food to eat for dinner? And somehow they were very creative. They were able to make do with it, with the vending machines, and there was enough cup ramen to actually tide them for the night. And of course, we have this opportunity to have these great conversations with the leaders of architectural activities in the world. Like, for example, the students went to Basel, Switzerland, and read the city of Basel, and then presented and shared what they have found out with Jacques Herzog and Pierre de Meuron, the leaders of Herzogen de Meuron, the designer of the Beijing Olympic Stadium. And not only do we go there, I mean, Peter actually shared the experience with Sejima, where the students actually work with Sana to imagine what could be possible in Inujima, to imagine what can you do for the 60 to 80-year-old people, and then maybe with only a population of 40 people, how can you make that island vibrant? And I think that the students actually work on creating structures, cleaning up spaces, public spaces, creating a garden to actually make the place more vibrant and contribute to the art house project. We even invite people to come to Singapore, and then with the collaboration with the Swiss Embassy, Mario Botta came to share a movie about him and his practice. And then with Toto Gallery Ma, Hiroshi Naito, one of the great architects in Japan, also came to share what he does, and then also had a great conversation with our students to share with them how a structure can create beautiful spaces and how proper proportion can actually contribute to making wonderful structures. And so I think that that will be some sharing I could do about the student activities that we have. And I think that I would pass on the mic to our STEAM first architect, Bianca. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I still have a slide to share. Yes, we're game changer. So I should say that to introduce our faculty are award winning, and we have the only Singaporean who has received the UNESCO Heritage Awards twice. And even our students are award winning. They excel locally and internationally, and because research is in our DNA, with easy access to centers and laboratories within SUTD and beyond SUTD, our faculty and students enjoy innovations, and the studio space allow for this exploration. And the Fab Lab is their playground, and they become the knowledge leaders in the fields of their expertise. So they have opportunity to be inspired by the many conversations to drive change for good. And I think that may we share with you some of the ideas that changed the world. For example, the Air Lab at SUTD is the first 3D printed steel pavilion, and it's actually at the Gardens by the Bay. It has won many awards, and it is created by Professor Carlos Banon. And another one would be the Future of Us Pavilion, winner of the President's Design Award 2018 and other international awards, created by Professor Thomas Schofer. It is a successful form-finding exercise as a means of determining an intrinsically efficient structural and load-resisting form that is sustainable. And our faculty members actually do things that maybe other places haven't done before. And of course, we do not only new things and future-forward things, but we also do things with the past to bring it to the future. And so this is the Yue Hai Ching Temple, which won the UNESCO Heritage Award. It's one of the two awards that won by our Professor Yo Kwang-Chua. It involves documentation and also conservation of the built environment. It's a very interesting process to see how they do the conservation, the study of the materials, and then how they all put these together. So if you come to SUTD, you can do these things. You can do the future, you can do the past, and then of course you have to do it now. And yes, I would like to share with you the photographs. All my colleagues, the permanent faculty members at SUTD, so please join the conversation with them. If you go to our website and then you click on the photo, it will bring you to their monographs, it will bring you to the email address so you can have a conversation with them. And so now I pass on to Bianca. Sorry that I'm
It's
always like out of time.
Thank you, Orin. Okay, hi. I'm Bianca Gill. So this is a brief overview of myself. I was inspired at a young age of 7 years old by my grandfather, who was the Chief of Human Settlements Division in ESCAPE, United Nations. So the ability to design and empathize for the people is actually what sparked my love for architecture. And I believe that the work of an architect can make the world a more inclusive place to live in. So a brief overview on my timeline. I actually graduated from Nanyang Junior College at 2012, and I completed the Bachelor and Master of Architecture in SUTD. I was actually from the Pioneer batch, and I graduated in 2016 and joined RSP Architects as a BCA RSP scholar. And then I registered myself under the Board of Architects, so I completed the professional examination in 2020. And I also obtained the Specialist Diploma in Computational Building Information Modeling, the BIM, by BCA Academy. And of course, I would want to follow my grandpa's footsteps and eventually lead myself into United Nations. So I'll share with you some of the projects that I did. So like what Erwin said, in SUTD you do the future and you do the past, but in the work life you also get to experience that as well. So one of the key projects that I did was actually the National Archives of Singapore. It's about restoring the scallop canopy and introducing a new facade to the old repository room. So I think the value of conservation is actually very important in a small nation like Singapore. And it's about restoring the quality of spaces as well as understanding the materiality used in the past and what's the new interpretation in this modern context. So one of the key features of this space is actually the Oldham Theatre. So we actually broke down the double volume space and actually created a huge theatre space for community engagement with the history, the archives, as well as the art. And looking forward into the future, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with Holland Village. So this is the project I'm currently working on. It's a mixed development that comprises 296 residential units, 255 service apartment units, and a unique commercial experience. So yeah, that's something to look forward to in 2023 and 2024. So so why SUTD? Many people ask me that. So I think I was first intrigued by the opportunity to be part of the pioneer batch of a local university. I was very excited that I can be part of building and shaping this SUTD culture. And I think it doesn't just stop at pioneer batches, because I feel like as long as you are in SUTD, you can make a difference and you can be part of the culture. I was also drawn to the fact that the student and faculty ratio was just nice. I was able to have more time with my professors, understand where my mistake lies and learn from them as well. And also, what is the most intriguing thing about SUTD is that it focuses on multidisciplinary learning across pillars. So be it in ASD, EPD, ESD, ISTD, or even the new pillar DAI. I think what SUTD is great at is that it's actually fostering collaboration across pillars. And I think it's very important, especially when you step out in the industry, because you do not just design in isolation. You actually need to work with people across from different cultures, different backgrounds. And the foundation in SUTD actually helped me perform better in my career. And what is the SUTD experience about? So the hands-on curriculum actually developed my curiosity to experiment and consider new alternatives and perspectives to approach problems. I mean, it's always easier to follow a template and get the job done, but I think what SUTD actually teaches me is that to dive deeper into my assignments and also understand and address the key objectives. And this foundation is important because I realized the mindset of taking actions and not shy away from the unknown is very pivotal when working in the industry. We all know the purpose or the end goal in mind, but the process to achieve is uncertain. And we as architects are constantly challenged to innovate and create better environments for the people. So we do have to always position ourselves in this kind of setting. And a career in architecture. So the ASD course actually empowers students to be confident and resilient in the face of uncharted waters. So we do a lot crits, we get reviews from external panels, etc. So we learn from this feedback loop, whereby they give us positive feedback on how we can improve our design, our design for spaces, for buildings, etc. And I think the good thing is that it provides us a lot of platforms and opportunities to experiment, to venture, to actually fail and also learn from our failure. And the exposure to different design approaches and the use of technologies such as computation and digital fabrication broaden our perspectives and open new possibilities for our industry. So for example, the BIM course in SUTD actually provided me a good foundation when I decided to take on a specialist diploma in computational BIM. And also having gone through this multidisciplinary approach in SUTD had sparked my curiosity and hunger to better understand my project consultants, because as a lead architect, you have to collaborate with your M&E, your mechanical and electrical engineers, your structural engineers, as well as understanding your client briefs. And it's not possible to do that without empathizing and also trying to understand the needs of all these different stakeholders. Yep. So I'll pass on the session to Mr. Liang.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. We are from Ong and Ong, and please allow us to just share a quick video rather than to go through a series of slides. A quick video on what we do. We are a multidisciplinary practice. We have, we do architecture, engineering, landscape architecture, interior design, project management, brand engagement, and a lot of other things. And they're all together. It's a multidisciplinary practice. So usually large practices tend to be multidisciplinary in nature. And we have offices in 7 countries. So we are HQ'd in Singapore. We have offices in Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Myanmar, and also in Mongolia, of all places, very cold country, but we have an office there as well. It's -40 in the winter. And I think ultimately a practice is really about the people. People is very, very important, like what Bianca is saying. The people are very important in any company, whether it's in built environment or in any practice or in any discipline. The people is very important, and I think one of the key aspects that SUTD offers is actually the notion of multidisciplinary. I think that's very critical, because you don't exist alone in a silo when you practice. It is always with a group of people from different disciplines, and that would be the key, the asset that you have in our people. So please allow us to show you a very quick video, and then we can. Click this one, right? Yeah. Okay, fully runs. Oh, yeah, there we go. Can I narrate this thing as the video runs? Please, maybe I allow me to narrate it as we go. So we are very much an ASEAN-based practice. As we mentioned, we have offices in 7 countries, mostly in ASEAN. We are HQ'd in Singapore. We've been here since '72, so it's been a while. We see the growth of our organization in many different ways. Some of the projects that we have, you can see a myriad of projects. Some are in Singapore, some are in that was Ho Chi Minh City. This is Bedok, actually. You're staying in the east. That is Bedok. So we do community projects, we do institutional projects, residential, you name it, we do it. We do a lot of MRTs as well, as you will see, hospitality, residential, of course, bread and butter. We do quite a bit of mobility transport projects. So some of the MRTs that you take every day, you probably not notice, but it's actually done by us. And again, we do quite a bit of transport projects also overseas in Malaysia and in Indonesia. Interior design is another one of the things that we do. Commercial interiors. This is a nice view of, it's snippets here and there, but they're all different countries. Landscape architecture is another thing that we do. Master planning is another one. This is in Malaysia, in KL, just outskirts of KL. We do quite a bit of master planning as well. Usually for larger projects, it starts with master planning. And I think this is still in Malaysia. I think you see snippets in Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh City, and so on and so forth. Sanctuary malls in Malaysia. So 360 solution is what we do. It is a total solution. Again, multidisciplinary is usually what happens in practice. And this is one of the, I think, the key assets of SUTD graduates and the education at SUTD. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share with you another video. Sorry, a lot of videos. Huh? Now, this video is about people, and generally, people, like we said earlier, is one of the key assets of any organization, and an organization doesn't exist without its people. This is very peculiar because it is an expedition led by our group chairman. There you go, that's Mr. Ong Zebun. He's our group executive chairman, and he led an expedition to scale Mount Ong Ting Chong and Mount Ong Siu Mi in Kazakhstan, actually. And he's joined by our group CEO, Mr. Ashwin Kumar, and various other people. That's some of our directors, some of our people from the BIM specialists, and some of our designers and all that. So the whole idea here is to build resilience in our people. There will be challenges. The built environment is not without its challenges. COVID is one of the major challenges that we have experienced in the last year and a half. So again, the notion of resilience, the notion of teamwork, and the notion of going to undiscovered country. So they trained pretty hard for this. I must say they were carrying sacks of rice, running up and down car parks and all. So they trained pretty hard. But I think the training wasn't enough, because when you are walking through days and days of knee-high snow, and so they came back, they all exhausted, pretty much. Yeah. So I think again it shows the notion of resilience and how we build our people. Yeah. Not all plans will go as you plan it to be. I think that's one of the key takeaways. It's beautiful scenery though. This is at Kazakhstan. It looks like Switzerland, but actually in Kazakhstan. And this is where the snow starts. So there's a bit of snow going on. And yeah. So in Ong & Ong, we also have an L&D program. We have a learning and development program that's run by Sujata over here. She also runs, together with the team, she runs the knowledge management program as well. So we take care of our people, we train you. We have a corporate university that does all the training for everyone. We have a BIM department, what we call a design technology department. They are an ATO, they are authorized training office. They run BIM programs and things like IDD and VDC and all that. Digitalization, essentially, which is one of the key components in practice. And one of the key assets of SUTD's ASD as well. Digitalization is very critical in practice. Yeah. So now we also have a very peculiar situation. Some 1 or 2 years ago, when Erwin came and asked us, when do we start an architects in residence in SUTD, and we thought, wow, this is a fantastic opportunity. So we jumped at the chance right away. So after a few meetings, and we got it going. So now we have an architect in residence. Essentially, an architect in residence, essentially we have an office in SUTD in so many words, a branch office in SUTD. So you don't have to come to us in SLF, we come to you. So we have a little satellite office here. It's run by our director, Andrew Lee. And I think it's really about imagination and technology. You see, practice and academia are part of the same continuum. They're not divorced. They're not bipolar opposites. In many ways, practice informs academia, and academia similarly, reciprocally, will inform practice. And then that's where the AIR comes around. So Andrew does quite a bit of many top secret stuff there, which I think under NDA we can't mention too much. But generally, he does things that deal with exponential technologies, courtesy of SUTD's wonderful professors, and also the facilities at SUTD. At the same time, we are looking at things like exponential technologies and how that can be leveraged towards really wicked problems that we face. COVID is one of those problems. You have things like food security is another problem. Mobility is another problem. And so logistics is another problem, and so on and so forth. So wicked problems of the world. how do we solve that with exponential technologies? How do we imagine solutions? And once those solutions can be imagined, we can then apply that back into practice in the real world through our officers and our clients and our partners, essentially. I'm going to ask Sujata to speak a bit on the capstone project as well, because we do have we do sponsor 2 capstone projects this year, and I think we are very blessed with the expertise of the professors and the students. Yeah. Sujata, please.
So we support and mentor 2 capstone projects every year, where students from 3 or more pillars come together and work on a real-world problem. This year we have 2 projects. One is about deploying artificial intelligence in the education of architecture, and the second one is about resilience and flood protection for coastal cities. We just had a first review last week, and we are quite happy with the direction that it's taking, and we are looking forward to the results.
We can't wait to see what the results are. I've got to wait a few months until the maturity of the project. But I think it's chugging along fantastically well, and we're very thankful to the students. And if you're listening in to the students, and also to Professor Bigay and Professor Matthew, who have been stalwarts in leading the front in creating new stuff. Yeah.
Yes, I think that this collaboration actually opens new frontiers, because you're doing the exploration on time and on site, and then you're able to push the boundaries. I think that with COVID, I think it hastened the need for us to go through this digital transformation of the practice itself also. I noticed that our students who are on internship and also being employed by the architectural studios or the industry partners, that they're contributing a lot to the digital transformation of the practice itself. And I think that Bianca is also responsible for doing a few things that they do in RSP to transform digitally the way the practice is moving, to transform the infrastructure of the industry.
Great, so thank you so much, Lit House. Thank you so much, Sujata, for your sharing. We're going to move on now to our live Q&A session. So we'll be inviting our panel to respond to these. Our first question, how recognized are SUTD students overseas? And I think if you don't mind, Prof. Irwin, I'll jump in and take this one. So our program, our curriculum, and our students are very well recognized internationally. We established the program originally in collaboration with MIT, and our graduates have gone on to both study widely overseas and work widely overseas. So we've had students go to Harvard, we've had students go to MIT in the USA, we've had students at the AA, the Royal College of Art in the UK.
Delft also,
And
technical
Delft,
university, yes. And what's interesting is that even before they graduate from SUTD, Harvard University already accepts them in the program, in the Graduate School of Design.
Thank you, Erwin. And I mean, in addition to studying overseas, our students also go overseas to work frequently. So we've had students placed in Japan, more closely to us, and then more widely in Europe, the UK, and the United States as well for their careers. Great. Okay. So next question: how does the ASD professional degree prepare one to be an architect? Okay. So this Erwin's pointing to me because I had the curriculum. I just presented on curriculum.
I actually can maybe answer that also.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll take that question. Okay. I mentioned before that the ASD course actually trained us to be more resilient in face of uncertainty. So when I graduated from ASD and preparing for my it's called the PPE examination, where the Qualified Professional Examination, because of my foundation in SUTD, the ability to actually work in teams, it was easy for me to actually pull people and form this study group to study towards this exam. And I think it's very important because if you're able to communicate effectively and work in a team, generally it will create very, very good results. And I am also very proud to say that my whole study group actually passed the exam. And yeah, so I think that's what the ASD course actually, and not just ASD, I guess all the pillars in SUTD actually prepared us to, when we step out into the industry. Yeah.
Maybe if I could add, the structured internship between the Bachelor of Science to the Masters also help a lot because it allows the students to spend about 8 months in the industry partners to actually learn more how the industry works. And I think that it is a very good time for them to really know what they want to know and then also work on what they want to do.
Okay, great. Our next question. Why is architecture in SUTD under Bachelor of Science, whereas architecture in NUS is under Bachelor of Arts? Okay, so this again was in the curriculum presentation, so I'll treat this quickly. Again, the Bachelor of Science degree reflects our curriculum, right, where we have these core areas on building science and technology and design computation. So we feel that we have a different focus that is both traditional design skills, both traditional design thinking, but also this foundation, this background in technology, in science, which allows our graduates to realize their projects, gives them the skills to realize their projects when they're out in the field, in the industry. Do you want to add, Erwin? Are we okay?
I think that Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science, in a way, we're scientific in the way we do things, I guess. We use science. And I guess it's true to the mission of SUTD to train technologically grounded leaders and innovators that can contribute to making a better world.
Great. Okay, so next question. Since technology is a big part at the school curriculum, will hand sketch be excluded from the curriculum?
Of course not. Hand sketch is very important also. And you don't do hand sketch just with pencils. You can do it with a eye pencil. And like when we were in Rome, the students were, Florence, I should say. The students were actually sketching the Tempietto using iPad and then the iPencil, yes. So it's another dimension, and we have to look at the world with the advancement we have. We have to use that to make things better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Urban sketching is a required part of our curriculum. Our
Yes.
students all learn to draw, and we have a well-rounded curriculum, right? So we draw to think. Next question. How relevant and employable are ASD graduates in the industry, especially in firms where technology, i.e. computation, has not been readily adopted yet? Do you want to jump in? I guess it's let me say something first, and then I can invite our other guests to speak on this. So our ASD graduates do come with this sort of digital background, and when they come into a firm where perhaps that's not so much the case, they're often invited to be digital leaders in the firm. So helping with the digital transformation at that firm. This is what Erwin was sharing with us just a few moments ago. To practice in the present day as an architectural firm, you cannot function without this digital basis, right? To submit a drawing set, it needs to be done digitally. So this revolution is happening, and firms must be prepared for it, and our graduates are out there ready to help them make it a reality. Would you like to add anything?
Maybe, Litao, from the practice itself, maybe you have experiences, yes?
Sure. I think it is well, how do I say this? It is not really true that technology isn't widely exponential technologies or emergent technologies isn't widely explored or adopted by the industry. The industry is moving very fast, especially in Singapore, really fast. So some years ago, we're talking about BIM, and BIM being a new skill. Now BIM, within 3 years or less, is what you call a commodity. It's like rice and sugar. It's a commodity. AutoCAD is long dead, so we don't use AutoCAD anymore. And within a few years, we are 100% BIM-based. Things get commoditized very fast. So that rate of commoditization of technology is very, very high. As we speak, BIM is a household name, and we are moving into things like VDC, Virtual Design and Construction, DFMA, the Design for Manufacturing and Assembly. We're moving things like IDD, Integrated Digital Delivery, and so on and so forth. And right at the tip of all that will be things like computational design, as per the question, generative design, parametric design, et cetera, et cetera. So these things will happen, and it will happen very, very fast, and it's already happening. So I think, okay, let me share from the ASD, SUTD ASD perspective. In the last 3 years, if my memory serves me correctly, we have awarded BCA scholarships, this is on and on BCA scholarship, to SUTD ASD graduates 3 years in a row, simply because I think the strength of ASD is in parametric, into computational, and into generative design, in those very key areas of technology. And we are again tapping onto graduates from SUTD to build that core capability ahead of where the industry is going. And I think it's the education and the direction and vision of SUTD ASD. I think that's very critical to us. I think again we applaud the school for having that vision and creating graduates with those very key competencies that the market really is looking for. Yeah.
Actually, if I could add, to answer the question, the computational skills make you more employable in the industry today. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with what you say, but maybe to address this also, that though maybe you would say that the office is not really technologically advanced, I think as Bianca has shared, our students learn collaboration and are very agile and perceptive, and they respond very quickly. Maybe give them a week or two to maybe adjust to things, and then they will do what they have to do. And I think this is based on, because when they are on structured internship, I will receive the report every now and then, and from the supervisors, and then this would come out, and so I will read it. Normally, maybe it takes about maybe a week or two to adjust, and then once the students get a grip of things, then they perform very well. So as Bianca has shared, the way she organized herself to prepare for the PPE, bringing her friends together, I think it's a testament that, yes, they're very employable and they can contribute to that setup and maybe help you advance and be technologically prepared also to meet the needs of today.
Okay, so next question. Do architects work alone or with architects in the real world job? Then does SUTD allow for group design projects? Okay, so I'm a studio teacher. I teach these projects, so I'll answer this. In the real world, architects always work together. You're always working in a team. You have to have good team skills. You have to have good sort of social interpersonal skills. At SUTD, we do our design projects both individually, but also in groups, right? So I was just explaining in our core Studio 3, which I teach, we do a master planning project where the whole studio is working together, each designing a different network, sustainable water systems, green systems, activities. We all get together, we have a big conversation, and we make the design together. This is something that we emphasize in our collaborative curriculum in our design studios.
Maybe just to add that, yeah, the way it's structured means that they learn how to assume different roles in what they have to do, and which is very important to be in the real world. You have to know your role and then also how you can contribute. So I think that they're trained to do that. And so it means that the architect is not someone, a loner, just sketching and doodling, but actually it's the conversations you make with people that actually make possible the things that you can do in architecture.
Great. So that concludes our question and answer session. As we wrap up now, I would like to highlight some exciting upcoming and ongoing events that we have here at ASD. We're participating in the 2021 Asia Pacific Architecture Festival. Right? We're going to have 3 separate webinars here: Education of an Architect, an AI Point of View, Future Housing and the Innovative City. This is March 19th. Hearing Architecture with the APFP podcast. We have the Design Online Showcase, Augmented City Design. I recommend that for more information, you all visit our website under Events News, where you'll be able to see more about each of these events. So thank you everyone. Thank you so much to our panelists today. Thank you to all of you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the near future. And please connect with us again. Please email us or look us up on our website. We'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.